Will Titanfall 3 ever happen? A question I ask myself way more than I should, especially lately. Well, there's been a game that's been causing stirs recently on the internet, a lot of people claiming it to be Titanfall's quote-unquote spiritual successor. And that is because the demo for 1047's new arena shooter game, Empulse, is officially live. Thanks to Steam Next Fest, you can play the game from today till the 22nd. And yeah, play the game is exactly what I did. So in this video, I'll be breaking down everything the demo entails, from the weapons, the movement, plus the maps and game modes, and giving my thoughts and opinions on the game, on how it holds up against Titanfall 2, because, well, that's just the general popular comparison being made across the internet right now. Since this is a demo, obviously not everything that's in the game is going to be available, so we're just going to go over what they are showing off for us so far and go from there. Alright, let's start off with the basics. Empulse, a 6v6 arena shooter with movement inspired by Titanfall 2 and Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Created by 1047 Games, who also made the arena shooter Splitgate. Now, since the demo for the game has been made available, I finally got to get some one-on-one time with Empulse, which is the gameplay you're seeing on screen right now. Now, a lot of people, myself included, saw giant robots, a grapple hook, and wall running mechanics, and immediately thought, Titanfall 2 supplement. So I am here to tell you to subvert those expectations, because that's actually not the case. After playing Empulse for a handful of hours now, I can honestly say that the movement actually feels more akin to the Unreal Shooter series, if I had to pick a franchise. The movement in the game is not on par with Titanfall's movement mechanics in the slightest. Due to the fact that everyone has a jetpack hover mechanic, the overall movement of the game still feels very floaty compared to Titanfall's jumping, which can put a target on your back in some cases if that's something that you're not used to. To me, it feels like there is a 1.5 second delay when your character's model leans into the wall for the wall running mechanic to kick in. The grapple also left a lot for me to be desired personally, with what felt like a slight delay on the launch of the grapple hook, and the slow swinging animation can actually cause you to lose your momentum in some cases. I know they have a perk for grapple that buffs it a little bit, but by default it is a little underwhelming, at least in comparison to Titanfall's grapple hook. It honestly feels more like the grapple hook from Halo Infinite, in my opinion. Your other movement options come in the form of paint bombs, an orange paint that speeds you up temporarily, and a blue paint that gives you a temporary powerful jump. And of course, you can maintain your momentum throughout all of this by sliding and chaining your jumps into bunny hops. So, movement-wise, this is not Titanfall 2's movement. It's actually closer to Splitgate mixed with Black Ops 3. So Titanfall fans, don't get your hopes up. While the movement is fun, it's not nearly as fluid as Titanfall 2's movement. You can grapple teammates or enemies, but unlike Titanfall 2's grapple, there's no stun lock, meaning enemies have more than enough time to gun you down while you're flying towards them. Hell, the game even gives you a medal for it if you die that way, which I thought was actually kind of funny. For the demo, weapons-wise, they start you with 2 assault rifles, a submachine gun, and a carbine, but you are able to unlock more weapons as you progress your levels further. As far as the unlockable weapons go, we have a shotgun, a burst rifle, a high caliber pistol, a light machine gun, another submachine gun, and an assault rifle with homing abilities. Each of these weapons can have up to 2 attachments thrown on them to shake up the individual stats of the weapon, like back in the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 days. The attachments are grip, extended mag, laser sight, barrel extension, quick draw, reinforced rounds, tagger, and delay health regen. The other weapon everyone has on them as their secondary is the hammer. This hammer is not, however, like the gravity hammer or the energy sword from Halo. It's actually kind of tough for me personally to use, to be honest. A lot of the time when I find myself going to swing it, I'm expecting a solid wind-up animation, but instead it just feels like a little love tap, which is kind of underwhelming since it's a one-shot kill melee weapon. It doesn't really feel like there's any weight to it other than these sound effects that go off when you swing it and actually connect to the enemy. Speaking of that, it definitely doesn't have any type of lock-on mechanic to it like the gravity hammer or the energy sword from Halo, so it's definitely a swing at your own risk type of weapon. There's also explosive paint that you can equip to deal damage with too. Game modes were pretty scarce, you only had 4 to pick from. Team Deathmatch, which is self-explanatory. Intel, which is what you're seeing gameplay for on screen right now. It's essentially Split Ball from Splitgate. Capture the Mech, a variation of Capture the Flag where you capture the enemy team's mech from their side of the field and bring it to your team's side of the field to score a point. First one to 5 points wins. And one more that I actually forgot. Wow. Anyway, out of those 4 game modes, you had to keep at least 3 of them in rotation to even get a match in matchmaking, even if you didn't particularly care for the game modes. I've heard from YouTuber Nade Straight's coverage on Empulse that they also plan on launching the game with 8 or 9 game modes when it hits early access, but no clue as to what those other game modes could be right now. I also heard there's plans for a Forge mode as well, and with how bland and boring the map design is for this game, they might just need it. So far, I've played 3 maps on the demo. One called Harbor, one called Plaza, and I think the other one was called Elevation. The maps definitely need work in my opinion, 100%. For a game that bolsters itself on movement mechanics, all of the maps that I played on were cluttered with obstacles that directly interfere with your movement and gaining and maintaining your momentum. The maps just feel really cramped and lane-oriented. In Titanfall 2, the maps were built with PvE in mind, so that it gave you, the player, a lot of room for creative expression when it came to how you wanted to use the movement mechanics to get across the maps however you wanted to. Sadly, that's not the case for Empulse. The cluttered maps actually feel even smaller when you start running into all the out-of-bounds zones that were set up on the maps. It just feels like the size of the maps doesn't justify even having out-of-bounds areas to begin with, let alone trying to fight with a giant robot on them. Trying to maneuver around these maps while piloting the mechs is a massive pain in the ass, getting caught up on every little object or corner you're just trying to pass by. The mech combat is probably the furthest thing from Titanfall in this game, which is a bit disappointing. The mech design is extremely bland with no variations, just the same singular mech with no alternate or fun ways of getting around the map. The mech has a shield you can deploy around you to defend from enemy fire, but the shield can be worn down. It has a machine gun for its right arm, but that takes way too many bullets to kill enemy players. But its left arm is an RPG launcher that kind of makes up for it a little bit with its blast radius. The mech also has a melee punch that does not insta-kill enemy players, which makes the mech feel really weak. The mech can also jump, or if you hold the jump button, you can get a higher jump that ends up crushing any enemy players under your mech's radius. So why in the world is stepping on the enemy players an insta-kill, but not punching them with a big metal arm? Like, there are just too many things about the mech combat portion of the gameplay that are unbalanced and need work big time. Like, if enough enemy players are concentrating fire on you while you're piloting the mech, even if you throw up your shield, they can just melt through it with regular gunfire in what feels like no time at all and destroy you without them even having to have a mech. Like, the mechs themselves actually feel like they shouldn't even be on the maps. They feel more like an on-field pickup like Speed Boost or Overshield. So, in conclusion guys, is Empulse Titanfall 3? Not even close. Is Empulse even really a spiritual successor to Titanfall? Also no. Empulse, at its current state, feels more like a Splitgate clone with Black Ops 3 movement. It feels like they tried way too hard to mesh Titanfall gameplay mechanics with Splitgate as its foundation and came out with something that they don't really know what to do with. I really don't mean to make this video sound like an insult towards the game. I actually had a lot of fun with the gameplay, but if you're expecting Titanfall gameplay, then you're going to be disappointed. This is a small movement arena shooter made by an indie studio on Unreal Engine backed by private investors, while Titanfall was created by a AAA game studio on Source Engine and backed by freaking EA. After the first 30 minutes, admittedly, I was a little off put, but only because I had set my expectations off in the wrong direction with Empulse. I wanted to make this video to let you know that Empulse is not like Titanfall, so you don't set your expectations up to have them knocked down like I did. I'm really hoping the best for Empulse and 1047. I hope that 1047 listens to community feedback big time with Empulse. There is potential there though, so it's at least worth keeping your eye on. If you found this video entertaining or at all informative, consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel for more first-person shooter content. Later, guys.